Hi, guys. Hi, everyone. Very good evening to all of you. First of all, happy Raksha Bandhan to everybody out here. And as you can see, I've finally managed to get my hair chopped and my beard trimmed as well. And believe it or not, currently I am sitting at a very special opening ceremony venue. The place that you can see behind me is essentially a huge hall where we're basically going to be having the opening ceremony that's going to be taking place on Friday. And all of us are hard at work out here to essentially make sure all the setup is ready for all of you. It's very beautiful. You guys are all going to love it. And yes, this is the Babuji Ashram. And yes, the face is a little bit blurred. The internet connection is not too good out here. But more than anything else, it's good to see all of you in the chat box. Vishant, unfortunately, I cannot show you around right now, but you're going to be coming here in a couple of days, right? And like I said, it's like a really beautiful place. It's, I think, spread across what, 20 acres, and it's full of greenery, a huge hall, and the weather's even more pleasant, as compared to outside in the main city. And I thought, we all thought actually to make garden instead of, doing it somewhere else. No better place than to do it here than in the ashram. And trust me, this place is beautiful. Even when I visited your schools for the orientations, at that juncture in time, I was also going to be staying here as well. But nonetheless, less about the opening ceremony today, more about what our discussions are going to be there in the conference, and more importantly, your questions and answers is something that I'm going to be addressing today. So, what I want you all to do in a very civilized manner, I don't want you all to all ask questions at one time. Okay, just keep a tab on people asking questions, and if you feel a chat box is getting filled up really fast, don't haste in asking your question. Let me hear, rather, let me see the different questions which are there, and based on that, you can put in the chat box, and I will answer your questions. So, if it comes first and foremost, if there is anything related to your committee in specific, that question is something you need to ask on your respective WhatsApp committee group. This session, this session is only doubt solving for the rules of procedure. So, say for example, Akshara out here is asked, can you go into depth with the media house? For that, I would recommend you are there on the WhatsApp group of the Media House Committee. Go and sign up, go and log in onto this, not right now, after our session today, and essentially ask your questions specific to your committee in your WhatsApp groups. A couple of things before I start taking questions. First things first, tomorrow we will be seeing you at 3:30 in the afternoon at the ashram. We have shared the Google Map link to the place. You will come here. 3:30 to 4:30 will be your registrations and a brief high tea, a light high tea for all of you, followed by which 4:30 to 6:30 is when we're going to be having the opening ceremony. Happy to tell you there are around 36 institutions participating in this conference, so the real beauty is in its diversity. My mistake, not tomorrow, I meant Friday. Friday is when the opening ceremony is. Let me repeat myself. First of September, Friday, 3:30. We will be seeing you at the opening ceremony round about 3:30 in the afternoon. That is what essentially the plan is. Yes, Meghna. Yes, Vishant. It is on Friday. It is not on any other dates. On Friday. First, we will see you at the ashram here. Second and third of September, that's Saturday and Sunday, is when we're going to be having our discussions, debates that's going to be taking place at the Lalaji Memorial Omega International School in the Cambridge block. So we will be seeing you tomorrow on Friday at the ashram, and Saturday and Sunday at the LMOIS institution. All right. Also, there's the socials. Some of you all would have received mails. Some of your teachers have been received information about this. It's going to be really special. What's going to happen here is that we've really gone all out. Rather, not me, but rather the students of LMOIS and the faculty of LMOIS have gone all out to ensure that it's going to be a very special evening for all of you. We've also introduced a lovely dinner that's going to be there as well, and it's going to be really nice. So please make it for the socials as well. Coming back to our questions on procedure, these are a few things I wanted to share with you. Also, last thing again, the dress code. Your first day is Indian traditional. Okay, Indian traditional is what your first day is. Second and third day is going to be your Western formals. I repeat, your first day, that is Friday, is going to be Indian traditional. The second and third day is going to be your Western formals. Please keep that in mind and please make note of this at large. Coming to the questions that I am reading in the chat box, essentially I am reading the first question. I'm only going to be taking questions on the procedure and nothing else at this juncture in time. Okay, so what is basically Sai Vidhu asks, how do I raise a motion for an amendment? So this is what I call a valid question. So what is an amendment? An amendment comes only when it is part of a resolution. So your final solution of an agenda is called a resolution. It comprises of a compilation of all the working papers in a particular format. So what essentially happens out here at that juncture in time? What essentially happens out here at that juncture in time is what basically happens here at that junction time, sorry, I think for some reason it froze, is essentially uh, all your working papers are compiled into forming your resolution in a particular format. If there is a particular change, if there's a particular change in one of the points of your resolution that you want to make, then you can raise a motion for amendment by raising your placard and saying motion to pass an amendment, or motion to introduce an amendment, or motion to initiate an amendment. That's absolutely as per your this thing. It's a motion once again to motion to amend, or motion to introduce a consensual or non-consensual amendment on particular point, on point C or point 5 of the resolution, and then it will be put to vote. So essentially you just need to raise a placard and say motion to amend a particular point, and that should essentially cover how to amend a resolution at large. Sir, should we prepare the position paper? Yes. Once again, Adi Avantu Vlogs. This position paper is something that your chairperson will be guiding you on. Each chairperson might have a different format to do it. Once again, for the position paper, you need to put it up on your WhatsApp group. Ask, not now, after the session gets over today, ask your chairperson to guide you on how you can go about making the position paper at large. It's a very simple one-page document. Idea behind the position paper is just to showcase your stance, like how you have a general speakers list which showcases your stance on the topic, for, against, or neutral. Similarly, a position paper is a written stance, whether you're for, against, or neutral. It has a particular format, and your chairperson once again would be the best person to guide you in it. And I do believe in the first committee session you all will be drafting the position papers last that I have essentially heard. What all do we need to do to prepare for GSL? I'm still having a confusion. So Shri Niti Hassan, general speakers, this is a very simple thing. Okay, it's like basically saying that okay, I am the delegate of so and so country, and in my country I'm for or against or neutral towards the agenda, and one or two basic examples. That is what happens in a general speakers list. You don't need to kind of prepare for it. It's basically, it's like me asking you, Sriniti Hassan, which is your favorite color? Is it blue or is it red? And you'll be like, okay, it's blue. So then I will basically say that in the committee, my favorite color is blue, or it is red, which is not blue, or it is neutral, where essentially it is neither blue nor red. So what I'm trying to tell you in a nutshell, Sriniti Hassan, is that what your stance is, what your position is, what your country or portfolio's belief is when it comes to an agenda, is where essentially you have to basically voice it out in the general speakers. It's like an introductory speech. It's like an introductory address, just stating that you're for, against, or neutral, with maybe one or two examples of what has happened in your country. So that is essentially what a GSL is. To prepare for it, like I said, don't write down an entire speech, but rather what you can do is you can make a few pointers, point one, point two, point three, and essentially use refer to those pointers while you're talking in the committee during your GSL speech at large. Sir, can you tell about reporting timings clearly is once? Okay. Again, this is not part of the procedure, but on Friday, dynamic player, 3:30 is when you need to report latest. Between 3 and 3:30 you should target arriving at the ashram, and you'll be with us from 4:30 to 6:30. That's your first day. Then after that you'll be going home. The second day, that's Saturday, you'll spend a whole day with us. So we'll come in the morning around about 8:30. You must have received a welcome handbook. In that welcome handbook there is a conference itinerary, you can refer to that as well. You spend a whole day with us on Saturday right up to 7:30, and Sunday you spend a whole day with us from morning up to 6 p.m. in the evening, at which we conclude with the closing ceremony. Anna asked me, can you tell how should we research? Really simple, Anna. You need to essentially go on Google, find credible source of information, not things like Instagram and Facebook, and essentially research on the topic by just searching on Google. That's essentially how it should be. Sai Vidhu, have answered your question on this. Uh, Sir, can we bring our phones for our debate, speech, GSL, etc.? Yes, you can essentially bring your phones, and rather we are recommending you to bring your phones for these different for the committees and for the conference at large, because like I've told everybody in the orientations, we don't want you to by heart something, but rather we want you to use your innovativeness and creativity. So what you can do is you can have a copy of your study guides on your phones or laptops. You can essentially have copy of your rules of procedure also there, so you don't have to print out like 100 pages of paper. You have access to your internet on your mobile phones, which you can use yourself. So yes, please do bring your phones. Please refer to it while you're talking as well. There's no hard and fast rule that when I'm talking I cannot see a mobile phone, a laptop or pad. You can freely see any electronic device of your choice, and essentially initiate discussions in the conference. So please do carry your this thing, your electronic devices. No Skin says, sir, can you explain both caucus? I couldn't understand it. Okay, No Skin, there is two types of caucuses. One is moderated caucus, one is unmoderated caucus. Moderated caucus is a formal discussion. Unmoderated caucus is an informal discussion. In a moderated caucus, what happens? The agenda which we are discussing in each of our committees is very vast, right? It's a very big agenda, like a whole textbook, right? So what we need to do is we need to break down that agenda into sub agendas. We need to break that big topic into different subtopics, and essentially what happens then is in moderated caucus you discuss the different subtopics of the main topic of the agenda, and in unmoderated caucus you basically negotiate, liaison, be diplomatic, find solutions to these subtopics that are called working papers. So this is what moderated caucus and unmoderated caucus essentially is in a committee at large. Hi, sir. If my so and so country doesn't have a particular opinion, it is not affected, or it is not even connected to the agenda, Hardik, that's a very nice position to be in, because at that junction time you're free to share your own personal opinions. You're free to choose whether you want to be for a topic or against a topic. Basically people are going to try to convince you, okay, to be on their side. You can choose whether you want to be on either one of the sides, and basically you are a neutral country, so you are in complete advantage because none of it essentially impacts you at large. So that's a great place to be, where you have nothing to lose and everything to gain. So that's not essentially a bad how do you say um, thing to be a bad position to be in. Sai Vidhu asks, is there any format for chits? No, there's no format for chits. You just need to essentially write it on a piece of paper and send it across to your chairperson or to your respective logi member in the committee. Sir, can you share the rules and procedures? Ezil Mangal asks this. So, Ezil, if you could just once again post on your committee group that can someone please attach a document of the ROP with me. I'm sure they will be happy to do the needful. So you can go forward with putting that message on your group. Otherwise, I'll have to take like 10 minutes to locate everything and send you the document at large. So I don't want to do that. And Thiran asks, what are the main goals of committee? It's a very interesting question, actually. Main goal of a committee and main goal of the United Nations is actually not to pass two-thirds majority in a resolution. The main goal of the United Nations in its real sense, unlike in MUN, is to essentially form consensus, where we find that one space or that one place where all of us agree with each other, not leaving any country out. That's the main goal of a committee, where we have like 100% consensus in the conference. That is what you need to essentially, uh, you know aim to do in the conference at large. Nishok Vakunt asks me, sir, what are the ethics to be followed? I'm assuming that's a typo. So in a challenge, it's like a heated debate, much like you see on 9 p.m. television, where you can go all out. But only thing is, like I said, that no, personal attacks, no verbal abuses, no unparliamentary language. These things should essentially not be in your challenges. So you can feel free to debate as hard as you want, as as rough as you want, but just don't be insultive, don't intimidate, don't take personal jabs, and don't use unparliamentary or abusive language. And I think everything should be fine thereafter in a challenge at large. How do we know? Next question. Roshni asks, how do we know which motion topics we should prepare for? That's up to you, right? I mean, if there are certain motions you want to introduce in the committee, Roshni, you can kind of note them down by researching and understanding a little bit more about your agenda and how your country is concerned. Apart from that, like how you will be, say for example, noting down a few moderated caucus or motion topics that you want to kind of introduce. There are like 30 other students, 30 other representatives in that committee like you, so they will also be, introducing different motions as well. And then based on whatever motions are being asked, depending on how you're connected to it, you can essentially choose to speak in it or not. Not to mention, you have your electronic equipment, so if you need to do like a quick research, you can always access the internet through Google. We strongly recommend you to carry your mobile phones and use the hotspot, so that you all can easily access the internet, because due to the weather conditions, the internet has not been functioning too well. So like I said, use it for the right reasons, use it for your hotspot, and use it for Google. Once again, Star Scratch asks us, sir, can we bring our phones? Yes, you can bring your phones. It is recommended to bring your phones. And just a minute, I think this is lagging a bit. Sir, can I bring a tablet? Yes, you can bring a tablet. All electronic devices are this thing. How can I start to prepare my presidential statement? Sriniti Hassan, you are just a president, right? So you just raise a placard and say presidential statement, and that's how you begin. And because you're a president, people actually need to listen to what you have to say, because everybody else may be a representative of another country, but you have assumed yourself to be the leader of that country. So it is important for you to it is important for you to be recognized at that juncture in time. uh, Please don't repeat the questions, my friends, because what's happening is that I'm getting a little confused in the entire thing. uh, are we all supposed to see a group make a working paper, or is it a group project? So essentially it's a group initiative. Working papers and resolutions are a group initiative. Of course there will be one or maybe two people at most writing it, but like I said, it's everybody's contribution in the working paper resolution to come together to find a solution to it. So don't make a working paper individually, because that will only contain your perspective and your solution. But rather take the rest of the committee along and consider their points, consider their thoughts. Because remember, as I always mentioned to you, even if you make a working paper yourself, at the end of the day, the committee needs to kind of vote for it, right? And if you don't take into consideration the group or the committee at large, then nobody's going to really vote towards the working paper you've created. So hence, I will strongly recommend you to work on it as a group. Will we have Wi-Fi in the conference? If I'm bringing my laptop, I won't have any internet. Sriniti Hassan, I will have to get back to you on that. As I said, there are a few technical things that we are trying to get together, but all our mobile phones have the option of mobile hotspot, which you can use on your laptop as well. And I'm sure that we'll be able to work something out once you're here. But I think it's a great idea to carry your laptop, irrespective, at the conference at large. Again, Vishnu Prasad asks a specific question about Superhero Conclave. Superhero Conclave is, again, a committee specific question. So I would recommend you to essentially post that on your committee group to get complete clarity on that. Sir, I know this isn't involved of the rules of procedure. Again, Marvel versus DC question. I would recommend you to essentially put your committee specific discussions on your committee specific group. Uh, Repeat question. Yes, you can bring a tablet. Sir, can we get a paper for modern industrial right relation analyze or pre-written for the caucus? Vishant Asa, sir, should I create a paper for moderated caucus? And should I write the resolution with my allies or pre-written for the caucus? So, you should not create any papers of solutions before you come here, okay, but rather you should create different moderated caucus topics that you wish to discuss, so you can bring it up in committee, and based on the discussions out there, you can essentially go about making the solutions called working papers. In terms of your resolution, yes, we do suggest that you how do you say, we do suggest that you make your resolution with your allies. Once again, the resolution requires two-thirds majority, right? So it is very important for you to take everybody along in that resolution. Otherwise you'll be the only one writing the resolution, and nobody will be really bothered about how to go forward with it at large. So that's what it is, Vishant. So what is unparliamentary language? It's that you can Google. It's basically abusive, insultive language. Can be is a more mature word of calling that kind of language is called unparliamentary language. Moving forward, thank you, sir. Moving forward, what should talk about a character again? There are repeat questions coming in out here. Electronic devices are allowed. Electronic devices are allowed. Please bring your electronic devices. We continuously reiterate on this. I know generally you're not allowed in school to carry your electronic devices, but this is very different sort of platform, so please do carry your electronic devices. It will really help you. Star Scratch asks us, what are chits? Chits are basically like SMSs that you basically send to delegates and chairpersons in the committee. They're like private messages, which you can send to somebody like a WhatsApp or an SMS. In committee is called essentially a chit. Moving forward, should I create again the same question? Again the same question. What are the different N Theranas? Happy Salad says that this is my first time in MUN. Can you summarize everything once again? Also, are there plug points to charge my laptop? Happy, yes, we'll be having a plug points. Of course, we won't have 30 of them, so everybody will have to kind of share and accordingly go about it. I'm sure there'll probably be an extension box that will be there. But like I said, everybody should share, the electricity with each other. Um, I can't explain to you everything right now from the start, but the first two sessions which are there, you if you click on the links, you can watch the entire session once again at your own pace. So you can feel free to do that to get yourself up to speed. In Thera asks, what are different perspective or stances that delegates are expected to represent? So there are essentially three stances, right? Either you're for the topic, either you're against the topic, or you're neutral towards it. There's nothing in between that, right? So these are the three different stances based on what you're representing, what they stand for. You can essentially go about, choosing whether you want to be for, against, or neutral towards that topic at large. Moving forward, one moment. Anshu Doral Raj, if you're going to be spamming, I'm not going to be asking your question. You'll all need to be very slow. And as I said, please understand that apart from trying to explain things to you, I have to look at 100 people putting comments out there. So that's not an easy task. But I will come to your question. Uh, so, what about opening speech? How should I make opening speech? I've already explained opening speech. If there isn't involved, okay. So what is an opening speech? Opening speech is essentially a general speaker's list, right, where you share your stance. That's in a nutshell what an opening ceremony, opening speech essentially is. How should I make my research? How should I make my research the paperwork? So essentially use Google, right, Mohammed? I mean, we all have mobile phones, we all have the internet, so use the internet to learn more about the topic, how your countries associate with the topic, and essentially go about writing down the different details and making notes on your wordpad as such. That will be really helpful to you. Like I said, it's not about mugging up, right? So whatever you understood about the topic, whatever you want to talk about in the topic, you make it like in a Microsoft Word document or a notepad, and when you come here at any time, you can refer to it to kind of be on the same page as well. uh, what can I do if I don't know an answer to a question answered by another delegate, sir? Srinidhi Hassan, again, you can use Google and you can find out the answer to whatever you want to find out and research and what you want to do. You have access to your electronic devices. You don't understand something, you want to research about something, by all means, you can do that at any juncture of time. Ashraf asks, "Is there a prayer hall?" There is a prayer hall. I mean, I know that you might have to do your prayers, at certain times during the day. So we will make arrangements for you, where you can essentially, do it in a nice, clean, secure room in the right direction as well. Sir, I know this is in more again is the same question. Subha says, "Can you summarize what will happen by step in each session?" So, Model UN is a kind of you could say cycle, right? So, what essentially happens here, you have moderated caucus, unmoderated caucus, shuffling through a cycle, right? So, it goes mod, unmod, mod, unmod. So, you discuss a particular topic, you find a solution to the topic in the unmod, you make a working paper. Then you discuss another topic, and again you make a solution to that topic, again you vote on that topic, again you go into unmod. So that is basically the cycle. The cycle is all about moderated caucuses and unmoderated caucuses, and in between the different tools of debate which essentially exist. Jason asks us, how can we join a block? You can't apply to join a block. So basically, if you are India and say for example, Jason, I'm India and you are Russia, we are automatically a block, right? For example, BRICS, we're already a block, we're already allies, we're already friends. So it's not like you apply to join a block, you're already part of a block based on your allies in the committee at large. So in the general speakers list, when people are sharing their stance, they will essentially how do you say, when they're sharing their stance, they're essentially understand who your allies are, who aren't your allies, and those who are your friends, who have the same thought process and the same solutions. Those people are essentially what do you call that, your allies in the conference at large, and that is your block basically. Position papers, Roshni, are written individually. To answer your question, Anusha Dolraj has asked me multiple times what happens. So can you tell me about second and third day, Saturday and Sunday, second and third day? Western formals is a dress code, both days Western formals. You spend the whole day with us, morning to evening. On Saturday it's from morning 8 o'clock, 8:30 to around 7:30 in the evening, and Sunday once again 8:30 in the morning right up to 6 in the evening. Roshni, once again, position papers are written as individuals. You are individually supposed to um, write a position paper. Can you tell me about second and third day? Anusha has really gone ham on the copy paste button out here. So I know it is involved, but in Marvel vs. DC, should we give a clear? Okay, so no skin. Considering you're very keen on asking this question, Marvel vs. DC Conclave, should we give a speech about a certain character or community at my character? A blend of both, actually. You're part of the community, so of course you'll share your own thing first, and also your community's vision towards it as well. So should I prepare for the moderated caucus in my home? Vishan, don't prepare for it at home, but once you've done your research and you feel okay, these are things we need to discuss in the committee, you can note down that these are 4 5 different moderated caucus topics I should introduce in committee. Sanju asked me, "Hey Prashant, thank you for not calling me Sir Sanju. Does Indian Parliament have bloc?" Yes, of course. You have your BJP, and then you have your Congress or the India bloc as such. So quite naturally, the Indian Parliament does also have a bloc that is essentially there in the committee as well. What will happen in moderate caucus if only 8 people can talk but 10 people have raised a placard? So the chairperson will recognize 8 people, and the 2 people unfortunately won't be able to talk in that particular moderated caucus topic. What potential compromises or trade-offs might be considered to reach a Successful resolution. Thiran, that is the $1 million question actually. That is what you need to figure out after 1.5 days of discussion and debate. And based on what potential compromises and trade offs you conduct and you do in the committee, is how you're going to win the Best Delegate Award in your committee. Sir, how do I study for the DISEC committee? Thara asked. Thara, you need to go on Google, research about your committee, research about the agenda, research about your country, go through the study guide, and that should essentially prepare you for your committee at large. Moving forward to the next set of. Sir, motion. What is a motion? A motion is essentially doing something in committee, basically introducing something in committee, like, sir, can we discuss chapter 3 today, or sir, can we, play football today instead of studying. So that is what a motion is. It's basically an initiation in committee. David asks, is there any limitations to using the presidential statement? Yes, I would not recommend you use it more than twice or thrice throughout the conference. In fact, use it as sparingly as possible, because it's very easy for you to get negative markings in presidential statement if you misuse it. So be careful with that. That's like how do I say, something which is beyond our control. It's something that can backfire on you. So that's why be careful when it comes to your presidential statements. Sir, can you guide the people? Should I do a working paper? Prashant, for example, in crisis committee where chief ministers are politicians, so would you call delegates or chief ministers? Either or, I think in the Indian Parliament committee, it will probably be addressed as ministers rather than delegates. But once again, depends on the chairperson. Not that it matters too much, but you can ask your chairperson what he or she would be comfortable with, and you would be addressed accordingly. And Thiran, again, same questions. Just a minute. Vishnu Prasad, you need to really take it easy on the dress code and the copy paste button. We strongly recommend you to wear Western formals on the second and third day, but we're not going to enforce it on you, which basically means if you have them, please wear them. The classrooms you're going to be sitting in are air conditioned, so you're not going to feel hot. And what we don't recommend is you going and buying these outfits specifically for the conference. So if you have it, you possess it, please wear it. If you don't have it, then what you can do at that junction time is try to match it to the best way possible, is what I would suggest to you. Sriniti Hassan, you cannot not be chosen in any other block. Remember, the block needs you more than you need a block, because you have a vote and that block needs your vote, right? So don't think that way. Like, remember, everyone's equal and your vote has a big difference in committee. And Thiran has copy pasted the message too many times, and that question does not make any sense either, so there's nothing to do to address it. Magma, you do not have an Indian dress, try to wear anything traditional, maybe South Indian traditional, Tamilian traditional, anything traditional, maybe like a kurta pajama, salwar. I'm sure you must be having something, but like I said, you can take the suggestion of your parents on that at large. Yes, if you have a blazer, please wear a blazer. It will be nice for you to dress up, because remember, we want to give you the actual experience of a model UN, where people don't come in flip flops and like a casual t-shirt like me and joggers, but they actually dress up like the different delegates. So try to essentially follow the dress code as far as possible. Like I said, don't no need to purchase if you don't have it, but please do try to follow it as far as possible. That would be the most beneficial thing for everybody in this. I've already explained JSL a number of times, Rumani, so you can scroll back into the um, session today, and you can even scroll back to our first session and watch it where GSL is explained in detail. How does the see Siddhartha has asked a genuine question, right? How does the final resolution be drafted with the working paper? So all the working papers will be collected, like in like seven, eight, nine, 10 of them. Then those points of those working papers will be incorporated into the resolution. That is essentially what is going to happen in your resolution. It's like a compilation with certain adjectives called, actionable clauses, and certain adjectives which define the problem called preambulatory clauses. So this is something a chairperson will surely guide you with. Just start with essentially drafting out your working papers, and I think resolutions will gradually become clear to you as you move forward in committee. Okay, so here's the thing. I feel that all of you are, many of you are first timers, okay, and many of you might be a little confused, a little nervous, on different aspects of this. Sorry, I'm just getting a call. So many of y'all might be confused on many aspects of this. So let me tell you one thing about MUN, okay? As much as I explain to you, as much as you research, as much as you understand the ROP, as much as many times you watch this video, Model United Nations was, is, and always will be a practical experience, okay? There is only a limit to which your teachers can explain to you, your friends can explain to you, your chairs can explain to you, I can explain to you how many times you can watch this video. There's a limit to it. But like I said, MUN in itself is a very, very practical experience. What you need to do is just come prepared on the agenda, on topics that you want to discuss, and what your country stands for, and that's about it. Because remember, when you speak something in committee, there are 29 other people in that committee which will spark discussion, spark thoughts in itself. And it will, like how a river flows, like that a committee flows. And that committee flow will only happen when all of y'all are in committee together, sitting with each other, the different students from different schools engaging in the discussions. Because just like how you have done your research, like that the other students have also done their research, right? And essentially the discussions will happen quite naturally in this. So what I'm going to do now is, because people are spamming, I'm going to start removing people, okay, from this. Indian traditional dress. You can Google these questions. It will be easy. Ashraf, the food that will be provided is pure vegetarian. So of course it's going to be halal, and you won't face a problem there at all. What will the journalist do? The journalist will essentially represent the different news agencies and cover the media aspect. Once again, Ranveer Singh, that is something that your chairperson will guide you on as well. No Skin says is hotspot recommended. Hotspot, mobile hotspot is strongly recommended in the conference, because remember, even if the Wi-Fi is working, which ideally it should be, 500 of you connecting on the Wi-Fi at the same time is not going to benefit anybody. It's going to be slower than Windows 1995. So, for your own good, I am recommending you to connect to your mobile hotspot. Quite honestly. Uh, Again, there is the same question being asked to me. What are the primarily underlying cause of the issues we are addressing? I didn't understand this question at all, Thiran. This seems like a committee specific question, so please address it out there. Is raising plaque cards, not flag cards, plaque cards. Yes, don't worry, Anushka, if you're saying. Yes, if you want to speak, Anusha, like how you raise your hand in classroom, like that, you need to raise your plaque card in committee. It's necessary for you to do that. Uh, will we have any canteens? Ritesh, has a lot of food and a lot of yummy food, so I don't think you'll really need to bother too much about a canteen. But yes, I do believe there is a canteen on site at the conference. There's a lovely cafe out here as well in the ashram called the Ruchi Cafe, where I'm currently sitting right now. So you can probably, visit it if you'd like. Sit and hang out. It's a very beautiful place actually. So yes, essentially, I think there is a canteen there. Yes, it's pure vegetarian. So we're not taking any chances with non-vegetarian in this conference. Again, if we're not, I'm removing Suba Torse from this meeting, because the same question has been asked some multiple times, right? How do we find allies? Allies you will find when you are in the GSL, when you're like discussing amongst each other, your friends will become quite clear to you. You know, like say for example, you stood up in class and asked who's better, Ronaldo or Messi, right? So certain people will say Ronaldo, certain people will say Messi. So if you like Ronaldo, you know that the other people who like Ronaldo will also, side you on it. So they are automatically your allies, and those people supporting Messi are your enemies. So in the GSL, it will be making it clear. Happy salad, yes, you will have pizza one of the days for sure. Pasta too, I think, if I'm not wrong, there is that as well. So yes, you all will like the food, but please keep this strictly towards the rules of procedure. I can't really follow the chat because you all are spamming, so I'm not going to be able to answer the last set of questions. David Praveen asks a valid question out here. How do I know what happened during the committee when I'm excused from the conference due to the person privilege? In the unmoderated caucus, you can approach the chairperson and ask what did you miss out on. You can approach the other delegates who are there with you and ask them what you missed on, and they'll, I'm sure, guide you through that. I'm not going to be entertaining any further questions on apparel and dressing. I've made it clear already once, twice, and thrice. Indian first day, Western second day, Western third day. If you don't have, don't purchase. It's absolutely fine. Worst case scenario, come in your school uniform. But like I said, this is an MUN. You don't want to be sitting in a school uniform and everyone's decked up. Have we considered alternative viewpoints or solutions that might not be immediately apparent? That's what you need to do in committee, right, Thiran? That's what you need to do in your discussions. You need to consider these alternate viewpoints or solution. That's what you need to bring to the table. That's what you need to bring to the entire session at large. Shubha asked, do we need to bring money for buying extra food? No, you don't need to bring any money. The foods are included in your conference fees at large. So please don't worry about that. You all will be well fed. Our family here at Omega are very, very, very generous that way and very nice that way when it comes to food. And you'll surely love it. It's probably the best you would ever had in a conference. Sir, can we use our mobile phones, things not related to MUN in the break? Sikanda Girl Rajan asked this question. I mean, yeah, you can use a mobile phone for, maybe putting up like an Insta post or, tagging us in your post as such. But like I said, I would not recommend you to essentially, what do you say, uh, use it for reasons beyond your committee and MUN aspect at large. So be smart on that essentially. How long will the committee happen? Please refer to the handbook. Again, Enthiran, I'm not going to be answering your questions because you are repeating the same question twice. Um, Preeti, thanks. I'm grateful I've answered your question. And Thiran, you're repeating the same question twice. If you copy paste the same question more than once, it won't be answered. Simple as that. If you want to yield to questions, but no delegates are questioning me, so can I use the time for something else? David, very, 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 very good question. Um, yes, you can yield to the chair in case there are no questions. The chairperson themselves, when they realize, that nobody's wanting to ask you questions, when you yield to question, the chairperson will ask you, would you like to yield in any other way, and then you can choose another way forward. Hamza, bring your mobile phones. I think on Friday that should be sufficient. I think that would be absolutely fine. Exactly, how should one present their viewpoints in a speech manner? Simply speak, right? I mean, thoughts come into your mind, right? Thoughts come into your mind. Talk it out. We're not looking to see how prolific you are in just communication. We're trying to see how innovative you are to addressing problems and working with other people of your age to solving these problems. So just stand up, speak up, man. Like how you talk to your best friend, like how I'm having like an open conversation with you. It's much the same thing we want you to do in committee, right? Just be very frank, very candid, share your thoughts, and I think that would be a good way of going about it at large. Again, Sir, how can we address? You can just address me as Prashant. I'm not going to be addressing Vishnu. This is the third time. I seriously, if you'll ask me unnecessary questions, then it's not going to make any sense this session. Sriniti Hassan asks a valid question. Okay, what is negative marking on what category is it written on? Negative marking is basically when the chair realizes that you're being a nuisance to the committee. For example, if this was an MUN session and you kept copy pasting the same message like you have done already, Sriniti Hassan, then you get negative marking in committee. When you misuse presidential statements, you get negative marking in committee. When you talk about things which aren't related to the moderated caucus or motion in discussion, you get negative marking as well. So negative marking essentially means or essentially highlights when you do things which are not supposed to be done in committee or not supposed to be done at that particular time in committee, you essentially get negative marking at the conference. Friday's conference will be great, Pavitra. Sir, if a person talks in unparliamentary language, who do we tell it to? The chairperson, no skin, just raise a placard and say point of personal privilege, share your concern with the chairperson, they will take it forward. What will be writing? I have already asked answered the question, Vigneshwaran. Working papers are to be written with by one person maybe, but should consider everybody in the group for it to be proper, for it to be inclusive in nature. Uh, Kushi Agarwal says, I think the question got lost last time. I said, yes, that I understand it's happening. Uh, in Thiran, this question does not make any sense. It's very ambiguous in nature, so I won't be able to answer that. When we yield to the chair, will he comment or ask questions from delegates? The yield to the chair basically gives him the chance to do whatever he wants to do with the remaining period of time. He might even decide not to do anything at large. So it's not necessary, that the chairperson will yield it in a particular way. Sanju Reji, please again regarding your position papers, reach out to your chairpersons to get a better understanding of it. Yes, different topics have different rooms quite literally, otherwise it will be like a fish market. So you will be having separate rooms for every topic. Yes, you need to send your working paper to the chair. You can choose to discuss it, you can choose to vote upon it. It's collectively a discussion on in the committee that takes place. Yes, Akash, no code for Friday, it's Indian traditional on Friday. Yes, Siddhartha, you can initiate this of this choosing the topics you'll want to discuss in your WhatsApp groups. By all means, I think it would be a wise idea for you to do that as well. Vishant, working paper is essentially a solution to the subtopic or the sub agenda that's being discussed in a moderated caucus. Khushi Agarwal, ideally it is suggested to support the members of your block. Very, very valid question, I must say. Apart from the coats and the trousers, it's actually a valid question, Khushi. It is suggested, strongly suggested to support members of your block. But in case you don't, there should be a very strong reason as why you don't. You know, this again can both be really beneficial or really detrimental to your points if you go against a block. But if you go against a block with valid reasoning, it can even get you the best delegate award as well. But your stand should be clear. That's basically what it is. Yes, you will be the only one representing a country in a topic. When someone might say doesn't sit right with me, can I use passive aggressive tone to shoot down their claims, or will I get? So it depends on your approach to it, world. I mean, you need to basically be a little sensitized to how you should talk to other people and their levels of sensitivity as well. So you can be passive aggressive, but like I said, just make sure you don't cross the line. That's a very important thing. What journalists need to do, please ask on your group. Your chairperson will guide you on what you need to do in that case. Yes, I'll keep in mind, sir. Will the points from the study guides be enough? We are no. The study guides is just to give you an insight into the agenda. Please do a little bit more research on your own as well. Strongly recommended. Sri Priya, you answered your own question in your question. So try to stay neutral or try to stay in line with what your country stance is. If for any reason you're deviating from it, please make sure there's valid reasoning as to why you're deviating from it at large. In the agenda, I can see committee sessions in it and so on. Will be yes, you'll be debating the whole day. You'll be discussing the whole day. Committee sessions range from 2 to 3 hours. Suba, every delegate is not recommended to draft a resolution, because if every delegate is drafting a resolution, and who's going to vote for whose resolution, right? So you can have multiple delegates sitting together drafting one resolution. They are called authors. Okay, what is resolution? Mohammed Kashif asks, what is resolution? Resolution is the final solution to the agenda. It's a block is group of delegates. Great. I think you'll have kind of got a grip on it. Yes, delegates will have to speak in turns. Happy salad. If so, when can motions be passed? Motions can be passed at any time during the committee when there is not a motion already in play in the committee. Can discussions take place in Hindi? Yes, but don't speak in Hindi because we're in Tamil Nadu. So I think you can even discuss in Tamil if you're not too comfortable in English. So avoid Hindi because we're here and we generally don't speak Hindi too much. So avoid that. Yeah, each block will draft a resolution, Emmy. I would suggest both blocks coming together and drafting a resolution and then working on amending that resolution in different ways. Happy salad, same question twice, you'll be blocked next time. Great. So at this juncture in time, we are going to stop today's session. What I'd recommend you to all do is that you're all active on your groups, right? On your WhatsApp groups. Please share your questions with each other. Your own friends, your own delegates will help each other out. Your own chairpersons will also help you address committee specific questions and discussions as well. So please move this conversation into your groups. Delegates who have understood certain points, please help the other delegates out. It will be very helpful for them. Chairpersons, if you're listening, please guide your chairpersons in the right way either. uh, the discussion is primarily going to be in English. We're all well educated English speaking people, so we can speak in English. Like I said, in case you'll want to speak in Tamil, you can do as well. But strong recommendation is English is not a bad language at all to talk in the conference. So please speak in English as far as possible. So move your conversation further to your committee groups, activate them. Y'all will be meeting all of y'all again shortly as well. Thank you once again for your warm wishes, Rani. It's not mandatory to speak in Hindi or Tamil, but try to speak in English. Activate your groups, help each other out. You're all there from different schools. Some of you are experienced, some of you are new. So if you'll all come together, you'll all ask your questions. Your chairperson gets involved. Get into your discussions. Now the weekend is finally here. So get into your discussion on your WhatsApp groups, and essentially all will go about it. ME delegate kits are essentially your conference kits, which you will receive on Saturday in your classrooms or other committees at the school. Hamza, there are WhatsApp groups created for the different committees that are there. Committee specific WhatsApp groups, they have been shared with Mr. Javed. You can take it from him. English is the best, Vishant. I agree. What will be then delegate kits? Once you receive it, you will find out. It's pretty cool. It's a lot of effort taken by the students of our school to design these delegates for you. They're completely eco-friendly. You guys are going to really like them, and surprise, surprise, when you see them, you all will like them, I'm sure. That being said, I am going to pause this session. Rather, I'm going to stop the session now. It's been a pleasure and privilege to get a chance to talk to all of you, as always. And please activate your WhatsApp groups, activate your conversations in your respective committee groups. Feel free to be frank and candid. Everyone's very helpful. And looking forward to seeing you all on Friday, 3:30. As you can see, the venue behind me is all getting set. It's going to be absolutely beautiful. It's going to be something that all of you are going to enjoy. And let me promise you, it's not going to be boring at all. Um, 34 institutions, students from different schools are going to be meeting. We have a couple of students from Salem. We have a couple of students. We have delegations from Hyderabad. So I really love the diversity about this one specific conference above anything else. And that beauty in that diversity is what all of you are going to bring by coming here at the conference. And see you all very soon. Wish you all the very best. Please don't be nervous. Please don't hold yourself back. Remember, I've been reiterating time and again, you'll have a million questions, you'll have a million thoughts. MUN cannot be explained any further than this. It is a practical experience. You need to be there in committee. Your chairpersons are there to guide you. We are there to guide you as well. So just put on your best way forward. Come to the conference with a clear mind, with all the information that you have, and just remember just one rule: talk and speak when you feel like. Don't hold yourself back at any time. That's the only thing I want you to leave you with. You know the rules of procedure, they're with you. You have the study guides, they're with you. You have your electronic equipment, they're with you. You have your own notes, they're with you. The only thing that you need to do with all of this ammunition is stand up and speak. Nothing apart from that. Don't be nervous. Everyone's your age. Chairpersons are super duper cool and super duper friendly, and also from our gen. So it's going to be very comfortable for all of you as well. That being said, wish you all the very best. Can't wait to meet all of you in person once again, and see you all at LMOIS very soon, and see you very soon at the ashram for the inauguration as well. God bless. Happy Raksha Bandhan. Best of luck. See you on Friday. Bye bye.